Okay, so some big matches have been announced. Jack Della Maddalena will take on Makhachev for the welterweight strap at UFC 322 in November. This was always going to happen since Ilia Topuria vacated, since Islam vacated. The pieces always were going to align here, but it's still a huge matchup that I have a lot of takes about. We also have Zhang Weili versus Valentina Shevchenko, which is a super insane super fight. But we have Zhang Weili um, vacating her belt to do this, to go up. And we'll have a strawweight championship of Jandiroba Dern too, which is crazy, but I'll get into that in not a lot of detail. And we also have Edwards versus Prates, which is a super big fight, super entertaining looking. I think Prates is going to murder him. And then we have Moreno versus Tyra to cap it off, which is a cool flyweight matchup. That's going to have some good scrambles, I bet. So, we're going to start with Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. It's always going to happen, like I said. This is a super fight. I think there's a lot of interest stylistically in this fight with how Jack Della Maddalena is going to do with the grappling of someone so refined as Makhachev, but also how Makhachev is going to do up a weight class. He's been having struggles with weight cuts recently, or weight bulking. He's been struggling with both, really. He struggled with the weight cut at lightweight. He's struggling with the bulk up to welterweight. So I think he might get out physicality by Jack Della Maddalena. And in an official prediction, I'm going to go with Jack Della Maddalena to beat Makhachev via outstriking him and being able to stuff the majority of the takedowns, I would say. He was able to stuff the takedowns of Belal, who's not nearly as technical as Makhachev, but I would argue that Belal has way better pressure and is way more annoying on the front foot than Islam Makhachev. Islam likes to take his time. He likes to set stuff up, especially in the striking. I think Belal was able to find success in the striking. He didn't find a lot, but the amount he did find, I think it was because of the forward pressure he puts on is annoying and uncomfortable, and the takedown threat's always there, and he's able to find shots that way. If Jack Maddalena stuffs the first takedown, first couple takedowns, and Makhachev doesn't have that forward pressure like Belal did, I think Jack starts kind of piecing him up, starts moving forward himself. He starts feeling himself. I think he'll be stronger than anybody's Makhachev's ever fought up to now. And just Makhachev's last couple performances, I guess not his last couple because Renato Moicano he destroyed. He looked goofy in that fight for however long it lasted though. But the Poirier and Volk matchups are the ones I want to highlight. Poirier is old as hell. Coming into that matchup was old as hell. He has a fake hip. Very good at striking. Very good boxing. I'm not going to argue that Poirier is better than Jack Della Maddalena at striking as of right now. I don't know yet. I think Jack Della Maddalena is right there with Poirier in terms of striking, purely boxing-wise. And Poirier was able to stuff takedowns with a false hip. He was able to strike with Makhachev very effectively. And this is someone that's old as fuck, smaller than Maddalena by a ton. And Poirier, he wasn't coming off the best streak by any means. I just think Maddalena is in his prime. He's young. He's stronger. He's going to be better overall than Poirier was in his old age, I think, at least. I'm going to go with Jack Maddalena to pull off the upset. And I don't know if it's an upset, really, because he is up a weight class, but everybody and their mom has Islam Makhachev as this unbeatable fucking freak monster when I've seen a lot of holes and weaknesses in his game that could be exploited by somebody who can stay consistent and not let either cardio or fear of a takedown because of being undersized affect their performance. Like Volkanovski. He was undersized. He's going up from featherweight to lightweight, and he still made it that competitive in their first fight. On a full camp, at least. He was able to basically win. I still think he kind of won that fight. That's coming up a weight class. I know it's Volk, and that he's a fucking goat, and I get that. But that's up a weight class against Makhachev, who's supposed to be this unbeatable freak as well. I really don't like that. He was able to strike with Makhachev, Volk was. He was able to grapple with him. I think Jack Maddalena has very similar training methods. He's training with Craig Jones, just as Volk did. I think training with Craig Jones gives you a fucking super big advantage in the grappling in any fight you've ever been in. Craig Jones is the Australian hack pretty much to beating wrestlers. And I think he's had 2 camps now of just wrestling for Bilal and now Makhachev. I think he's gonna edge this one out. I say the first couple rounds are gonna be tricky. First 3 probably, but I think the fourth and fifth are gonna be Maddalena pushing forward, gaining damage, or I guess Makhachev wearing a lot of damage, while Maddalena moves forward, keeps his pressure, keeps striking. He is sick striking, and I think he's going to win a decision by damage or maybe knock out Makhachev because Makhachev has been knocked out before. I know Maddalena has had weaknesses in grappling in the past, but he didn't really show any in the Bilal fight, and he showed good scrambles. I get that the technicality of Makhachev might be able to hold him down a lot better than Bilal because Bilal is sloppier, but he's also undersized. And not to mention, Islam's a weight bully at lightweight, and that contributed to a lot of his wins, I would think, in the grappling control. Mainly the Poirier fight is a really telltale sign for me that a bigger, stronger version of Poirier with the striking level will beat Makhachev, and I think that's Jack Della Maddalena to a T. So, those are my thoughts about that fight. Sick fight. 322 is going to be sick. We also have this Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. Double super fight, double title fight. Not really anymore, I don't think, but it's a double champ fight. I'm worried for Zhang Weili. I want her to win. It would be sick if she could win. She is technical and good, obviously, and has finishing potential, but she's not going to have finishing potential up a weight class against Shevchenko, who also has finishing, not really, who is very durable for her weight class. And so someone coming up a weight class to fight her, they're not going to finish her. I don't think Zhang Weili is going to finish Shevchenko. I probably am going to go with Shevchenko to win. I think she's going to be way more physical. I think she's going to be able to do everything she always does, just stay really technical and find low kicks well. I think she'll be way more physical in the grappling. She'll be the one succeeding in the grappling, I think. And in terms of WMMA, I think a lot of it comes down to size and physicality and how willing you are to be a brute and take your opponent down and hold them down. And I think Shevchenko will be the one to do that. Sadly for Weili, I hope she fucking spinning elbow knocks her out, but it's probably not going to happen. So, very brief summary of this fight, but I think Shevchenko is going to win. Still a pretty big fight. Next, Leon Edwards. What? My bad. Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. They're doing this quickly. They're getting Prates right back in there against a guy in Leon Edwards who has not been doing very good recently in his fights in general. Edwards just got dominated by Sean Brady. This is not going to be a grappling match from Carlos Prates. If anything, I think Leon Edwards should be the one to grapple. He should be the one to grapple offensively. He should try to get Carlos Prates under control because Carlos is coming with heat and a size advantage and a reach advantage that I think is going to be telltale in this fight. Carlos Prates, in my opinion, is going to break and beat Leon Edwards. I am a big hater of Leon Edwards, and I've always kind of been a hater. I think he's annoying. I think he gets way too much credit for his headshot dead. That's literally the only cool thing he's ever done. I've said this many times. This is the only cool thing he's ever done is the headshot dead on Kamaru Usman. Everything else, he's just as boring as Bilal. That's my hot take. It's not very hot, I don't think. He's just as boring as Bilal, just as much as of a decisionator. He had some finishes early in his career. He's a decisionator. Besides headshot dead, he's boring. And most of all, he breaks under pressure so badly, it's insane. And as of recently, it's not gotten better. Sean Brady made him crack and just drown early into that fight. I think Prates, with his pressure forward, with his ability to strike, with the damage that he puts on, with his insane comfortability in the ring, I think he's going to be able to put it on him and knock him out. I don't think Edwards is going to be able to grapple like to an insane degree against Prates. I don't think he's going to be able to grapple better than Ian Gary tried to do against Prates. I honestly think Edwards is done. I think his career is probably going to go down a spiral unless they give him a give me like a Gilbert Burns or something like that. I think Edwards is going to start spiraling. I think Prates is on the fucking come up. And Ian Gary played a really good outside footwork game. and had a very similar stature to Prates. So he is able to do that well and coordinate that well. And Prates could, I meant Edwards could maybe do something similar to that, but I just don't think he will have I don't think Prates will have respect for him on the feet whatsoever. Once he finds out that Prates is a decision merchant, I think he's going to put it on him and finish him. This is two different levels of finishers. And Prates is on the fucking come up while Edwards keeps getting broken. So I'm going to go with Prates to win this fight by knockout in the second or third round later. So next, Jandiroba versus Dern 2. I don't want to look at the screen for very long. So I'm going to keep this super brief. I have no idea. I'm probably going to go with Jandiroba. I think she's probably a little bit better. Dern is way too inconsistent for me. I don't know why she's getting the title shot. She doesn't have, her big thing is her grappling. I don't think she has an outstanding grappling to just dominate everybody. I think Jandiroba is probably going to beat her. I think she'll be able to stuff the takedowns. She's probably better on the feet. I see much more commitment in Jandiroba. I see a much greater desire and also a much greater need to be a fighter in Jandiroba. Just based off of what I'm seeing on the screen right now, I think Mackenzie Dern has a lot more going for her than Jandiroba. And I don't mean to be rude, but it's just the case. And I'm using this as an analysis tool to get across why I'm picking Jandiroba. She's a lot less to lose. No, she has a lot more to lose. She has everything to lose. Mackenzie Dern still has paths she can go down. So, I'm going to go with Jandiroba to win. Next, we have Moreno versus Tyra. This is a sick, I think it's a main event. Should be a main event, right? Yeah, I think. Sick. Oh no, it's UFC 2. Wait, what? Yeah, okay, yeah. Main event of Las Vegas. Or it's on UFC 2. It's on 323. Never mind. Big fight, whatever. Oh, this one's hard to predict. But the way Tyra just looked in his most recent fight is pretty sweet. He didn't get to show much, and his opponent wasn't prepared whatsoever. So that's not like super big. I can't really get much from that, really. Moreno's looked weird in his past couple performances, I would say. He's looked sloppier. He's looked slower. I think Tyra will be able to capitalize on that. Tyra's in my future champs video, so I have a lot of stock behind him. And Tyra lost a decision to Brandon Royval. It wasn't a crazy loss. He got beat the fuck up on the feet. But that's Brandon Royval. He is able to do that. He's very lengthy. He's very good at tip-tap shots on the outside. He's just great at that. And he has good scrambles. Moreno has good scrambles as well. I don't think he'll have the danger on the feet. And I think Tyra's back game is way too dynamic. I think he's going to be able to get Moreno down in weird positions like he always does to every opponent. I think Tyra will be able to keep him there longer than he did Moreno, or longer than he did Moreno Royval. And I think on the feet, I think it's going to be not telltale. I've said that too many times. On the feet, it's going to be way big of a difference. And I think Tyra is going to be able to utilize his game plan a lot better than he did against Brandon Royval. A big thing about Asian fighters is they usually, a lot of the time, don't have head movement at all. And we've seen that in Tyra's game. But we've also seen him drop his opponent in the first 2 seconds of this most recent fight. And that tells me, at least kind of tells me, that he's worked on his striking a lot. Because that was his big hole in the Brandon Royval fight. So that's all that I would be working on if I was Tyra. I know I'm a jiu-jitsu freak. And I'm going to work on striking. And I think that's exactly what he's been doing. And I just see the trajectory of these two people's careers going way different ways. I think Moreno's getting older. He's getting less confident. I think Tyra's he's getting older, but he's a young fighter who's way more confident, coming off a finish, and looked great. And I think he's going to win. I think Moreno's good. He's consistent-ish. I think Tyra's going to beat him. I think he's going to be able to grapple him like he always does. And he's probably not going to finish him, but I think he can win to a decision. So yeah, sick fight though. Those are my thoughts about that, of those matchups. Let me know what you think about that. I will see you soon.